Martin Muses, where everything is awesome and where we talk about things that I like and don't like and all of that jazz. But you know what? I'm talking about something I do like, which is good entertainment. And when entertainment is good, I will give it the credit that it is due. So, welcome everyone and everyone that will be watching on the replay. We are on part 4 of the Hedge Night, where we have been following the adventures of Dunk and Egg. Now, I just love Dunk and Egg so much, but I especially love Dunk. Sir Duncan the Tall, I think he is probably the greatest character that George R. R. Martin has created, and this is easily become my favorite works of his. Song of Ice and Fire will not count because it won't count till it's done. But this I think can stand on its own. Each book of these, each novella, can stand on its own, in my humble opinion. So let's go ahead and get going. I'm hoping to get all of this done before the TV show airs. Even if I don't, I definitely have gotten through what the content's going to be on the first one. And if you do not want to be spoiled, and if you would like to come back later after the show is done, well, then I would appreciate that as well and go on these journeys with me. I will be continuing. I have not forgotten about Harry Potter. I'm going to be continuing with Harry Potter. I'm also going to be doing Wuthering Heights and maybe some other ones. If there's anything that you all would like for me to go over, please let me know. And of course, maybe I will be able to do some daily musings again. Right now, I obviously am very busy. I've talked about this before. There is a cancer surgery. It was very successful, very good. So, yay. Thank you for all of your thoughts and prayers and all of that. We definitely appreciate it. And I will be going home soon. I'm in an undisclosed location. So that's why if my voice sounds a little more subdued, it's because I've got to behave myself where I am. So, hello, I see you there. Welcome, welcome. We are going to be continuing. We stopped last time right before the tourney began because it's all very exciting. This is some of my favorite George R. R. Martin words, period. I just love it. And I love the way he describes it. So here we go. The way we ended it last time. The challengers trotted back to the south end of the list to await their foes. And I did the dun dun dun. And I had to stop it there because it was a very, very long segment. And I felt like that was the best place to make a stop. Sir Abelard in silver and smoke colors, a stone watchtower on his shield, crowned with fire. The two Lannisters all crimson, bearing the golden lion of Casterly Rock. The laughing storm shining in cloth of gold, with a black stag on breast and shield, and a rack of iron antlers on his helm. Yay! You see, even the shields and the sigils, they are Easter eggs. Now, we're going to see soon why he's called the Laughing Storm. Storms in, that's where the House Baratheon's home base is, if you will. Lord Tully, the Tullys, wearing a striped blue and red cloak clasped with a silver trout at each shoulder. We've got fish in the house. And who else do we have in the house? Why, it is Salty Traveling Sea saying good morning with coffee. Yes, and I do have some coffee. Now, so we have all of these guys, pointed their 12-foot lances skyward, the gusty wind snapping and tugging at the pennons. That's another thing. Tourneys are not good for your heart. At the north end of the field, squires held brightly barded destriers. If I'm saying something wrong, it's entirely my fault, and please correct me. For the champions to mount, they donned their helms and took up lance and shield, in splendor the equal of their foes. Yay! The Ashfords billowing orange silks, Sir Humphrey's red and white diamonds, Lord Leo on his white charger with green satin trappings, patterned with golden roses, and of course, Valar Targaryen. The young prince's horse was black as night, to match the color of his armor, lance, shield, and trappings. Atop his helm was a gleaming three-headed dragon, wings spread, enameled in a rich red, Its twin was painted upon the glossy black surface of his shield. Oh gosh, the splendor. You see, and there is splendor in this kind of stuff. There is splendor in tradition. And there's nothing like armor and sigils and beautiful things like that. And these are what's important. Now, we do know, of course, in things like House of the Dragon and in A Song of Ice and Fire and Hell in real life, we know that behind it, there are corruptions, there's bad people, but there's also good people. And even though these people might not be the best that are in different houses and things, at the end of the day, though, the traditions remain. The traditions are good. The honor is good, and it's something to aspire to. That's why I like Sir Duncan. That's what he is. He represents us, and he represents the best of this world, the best of this honor that these shields and things um, represent. That's why, I'm so traditional. I mean, if you could see my house, it is ridiculously traditional. One time the plumber came in. It's like, I love your house. It reminds me of my abuela and abuela rather. Terrible at Spanish. Because I just got Our Lady of Guadalupe everywhere. I got candles everywhere. I've got ancient crosses. I've got penal crucifixes from the penal days in Ireland. I've got shamrocks. I've got sigils of all this stuff. And of course, the trappings of America. These are beautiful. And we know that America's not perfect, but that doesn't mean that we don't love our country. Each of the defenders had a wisp of orange silk knotted about an arm, favors bestowed by the fair maid. The fair maid is the one who is um the maid of, gosh darn it, love and honor or whatever the thing it is. And we know about that. That gives us some nostalgia, if you will, for A Song of Ice and Fire, because Prince Rhaegar, he gave that award to not his wife, but to the Stark girl, which, caused really big issues and possibly started a war. Everything that happened was because of that. Well, look who it is. It is Snortopoopas Cooper. We love our animals here at Miss Martin Muses. Hello, humans and other critters. Hello, hello, hello. I hope your iceberg is doing well. I saw some of your friends, penguins, the other day. Though I don't know. Do you ever go down to Antarctica? Let me know. Do you ever see penguins on your iceberg? And again, help me out. The name just escapes my mind, and I don't want to go back and look it up. As the champions trotted in position, Ashford Meadow grew almost still. Oh, don't we know the way this feels? Like the way before a horse race? Then a horn sounded, and stillness turned to tumult and half a heartbeat. This is exciting. I can't wait to see this in the show, because from what I've seen on the trailers, they do this very well. 10 pairs of gilded spurs drove into the flanks of 10 great war horses. 1,000 voices began to scream and shout. 40 iron-shod hooves pounded and tore the grass. 10 lances dipped and steadied. The field seemed almost to shake. Oh my gosh. I can feel it. I can taste it. I can hear it. I want to go to a tourney. Darn it. But nowadays, like, real tourneys are illegal. They're all fake. But oh man, you can just see, hear, and smell the horses, and in the best kind of a way. Ah, good one, sort of Poopas. I've been to New Zealand. That's almost bipolar. That is a 10 out of a 10. Excellent. Yes. Champions and challengers came together in a rending crash of wood and steel. In an instant, the riders were beyond each other. wheeling about for another pass. Yikes! I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm drinking peppermint candy coffee. It's so good, especially when it's cold. So good. Let's see. When the sorry, Lord Tully reeled in his saddle, but managed to keep his seat. When the commons realized that all 10 of the lances had broken, a great roar of approval went up. It was a splendid omen for the success of the tourney. Ah, so I guess that's a good omen. And they're all about omens in A Song of Ice and Fire. But what's kind of cool about A Song of Ice and Fire is omens actually mean something. And we got Snuffles. Yay. Thank you. Yeah, it's cute, isn't it? I'm all for Snuffles. And this is also, they say, the testament to the skill of the competitors, which, of course, the best ones seem to be fighting right now. Or so we know. There's one who has not started yet. We shall see. Squires handed fresh lances to the jousters to replace the broken ones they cast aside, and once more the spurs dug deep. Ooh, I mean, this is exciting. When I was rereading this, I'm like, damn. But I remember the first time I read this, I was like, damn. Loving it. Dunk could feel the earth trembling beneath the soles of his feet. And understand, Dunk is a big guy. He's what, nearly 7 foot tall. So if he's feeling the earth trembling, we're talking about some serious trembling. And you know that these horses are massive. They have like the best of their horses. It's not, their little pony things. So yeah. Atop his shoulders, Egg shouted happily and waved his pipe stem arms. How cute! I can just imagine how cute he is. The young prince passed nearest to them. Dunk saw the point of his black lance kiss the watchtower on his foe's shield. Yeah, that's how they choose them. And slide off to slam into his chest. Oh, oops, sorry. I'm mistaken. They've already chosen them. When they say kissed, he means like, slide off. So it touched it to slam into his chest, even as Sir Abelard's own lance burst into splinters against Valar's breastplate. Boom! The gray stallion. Yeah, like check these out. These stallions are better magnificent. And his silver and smoke trappings reared with the force of the impact. Oh, the horsey. And Sir Abelard Hightower was lifted from his stirrups and dashed violently to the ground. And, clang of armor and horses and all sorts of stuff. Lord Tully was down as well, unhorsed by Sir Humphrey Hardying. But he sprang up at once and drew his longsword. You see, the fighting continues on the ground, and Sir Humphrey cast aside his lance unbroken and dismounted to continue their fight afoot. Sir Abelard was not so sprightly. His squire ran out, loosened his helm, and called for help. And 2 serving men lifted the dazed knight by the arms to help him back to the pavilion. Elsewhere on the field, the 6 knights who had remained ahorse were riding their third course. More lances shattered, and this time Lord Leo Tyrell aimed his point so expertly he ripped the gray lion's helm cleanly off his head. See, and this is all happening at once, like organized chaos. Barefaced, the Lord of Casterly Rock raised his hand in salute and dismounted, yielding the match. Yeah, and that's an honorable thing too. Hey, I salute. I'm gonna dismount, yielding the match. So even though he lost, he wasn't being a butthead about it. By then, Sir Humphrey had beaten Lord Tully into surrender, showing himself as skilled with a sword as he was with a lance. Fun stuff. Tybalt Lannister and Andrew Ashford rode against each other thrice more before Sir Andrew finally lost shield, seat, and match. All at once. I had to turn the page. The younger Ashford had lasted even longer, breaking no less than 9 lances against Sir Lionel Baratheon, the Laughing Storm. Champion and challenger both lost their saddles on their 10th course, only to rise together to fight on, sword against mace. Yay, we have mace in the house. Finally, a battered Robert Ashford admitted defeat. But on the viewing stand, his father looked anything but dejected. Both Lord Ashford's sons had been ushered from the ranks of the champions, it was true, but they had acquitted themselves nobly against two of the finest knights in the 7 kingdoms. Again, honor. Honor, they acquitted themselves well. So it's not all about winning. I mean, in this case, it's not all about winning, but it's how you play the game. And that they kind of survived for quite a while. And they did, yay. So I'm happy for that. And, acquitted themselves well without any major injuries. And take a sip of my coffee there. All right, let's continue. I must do even better, though, Dunk thought, as he watched Victor and Vanquished embrace and walk together from the field. See, look, they're hugging and walking together. Nothing personal. And Dunk is still thinking, I must win at least the first challenge or I lose all. Indeed. Will he lose all? What's going to happen? Sir Tybalt Lannister and the Laughing Storm would now take their places amongst the champions, replacing the men they had defeated. Once again, Martin's showing us the rules of the game. Already the orange pavilions were coming down, ready to go on to the next race. Sorry, I'm thinking about the way it is like with NASCAR and stuff. But no, this is not a race, this is a tourney. A few feet away, the young prince sat at his ease in a raised camp chair before his great black tent, giving us an image. His helm was off. He had dark hair like his father, but a bright streak ran through it. A serving man brought him a silver goblet. Water, if he is wise, Dunk thought. Wine, if not. Yeah, you don't want to be doing a tourney drunk. That's a dumb thing to do and dangerous. It's like drunk driving, but drunk horsing. Dunk is then thinking again, if Valar had indeed inherited a measure of his father's prowess. Oh, he's wondering if he had indeed inherited a measure of his father's prowess, or whether it had only been that he had drawn the weakest opponent. Yeah, reminding us that his dad is a good guy. He's an honorable guy. This son, not so much. And yay, a fanfare of trumpets, I can hear those trumpets, announced that 3 new champions had entered the lists. Sir Pierce of House Caron, Lord of the Marches. He had a silver harp emblazoned on his shield, though his surcoat was patterned with nightingales. Sir Joreth of House Mallister from Seaguard. Sir Joseph sported a winged helm. On his shield, a silver eagle flew across an indigo sky. I love it. I know I'm getting very redundant here, but I always like these descriptions of these shields. Sir Gawain of House Swan, Lord Stonehelm of the Cape of Wrath. A pair of swans, one black and one white, tossed furiously on his arms. And I'll tell you what, swans are pretty, but they are vicious. Lord Gawain's armor, cloak, and horse bardings were a riot of black and white as well, down to the stripes on his scabbard and lance. Hello, everyone coming in, and thank you those that are coming in and needing to go. Lord Caron, harper and singer and knight of renown. Yay! We love our singers here at Miss Smart Muses. Touch the point of his lance to Lord Tyrell's Rose. Sir Joseph thumped on Sir Humphrey Harding's diamonds. The black and white knight, Lord Gawain Swan, challenged the black prince with the white guardian. Dunk rubbed his chin. Lord Gawain was even older than the old man, and the old man was dead. Old man, that is his former, I guess, the knight that he served. Egg, who is the least dangerous of these challengers? He asked the boy on his shoulders, who seemed to know so much of these knights. Uh-huh, he sure does. I mean, an 8-year-old boy knowing this much? Maybe Dunk is as thick as a castle wall. Lord Gawain, the boy said at once. Valor's foe. Prince Valor, he corrected. Or wait, Prince Valor, he corrected. A squire must keep a courteous tongue, boy. Aha. Why is he so casual about these names? The three challengers took their places at as the three champions mounted up. Men were making wagers all around, but Dunk only had eyes for the prince. On the first pass, he struck Lord Gawain's shield a glancing blow, the blunted point of the lance sliding aside just as it had with Sir Abelard Hightower. Only this time, it was deflected the other way into empty air. Lord Gawain's own lance broke clean against the prince's chest, and Valor seemed to fall for an instant before he recovered his seat. The second time through the lists, Valor swung his lance left, aiming for his foe's breast, but struck his shoulder instead. Even so, the blow was enough to make the older knight lose his lance. One arm flailed for balance, and Sir Gawain fell. Oh! The young prince swung from the saddle and drew his sword, but the fallen man waved him off and raised his visor. I yield, your grace, he called. Well fought. Everyone then is all echoing, yeah, well fought, yeah, well done, well done. As Valar knelt to help the gray-haired lord to his feet. Well, at least he did that. It was not either, Egg complained. Be quiet or you go back to camp. I love the banter between these two. Sir Joseph Mallister, was being carried off the field unconscious. Oops. While the Harp Lord and his Rose Lord were going at each other lustily with blunted long axes. Yay, we have axes. To the delight of the roaring crowd. Yeah, I would be delighted too. I'm delighted just reading about it. But Dunk, although he really had eyes for word Valor Targaryen. And if I'm saying that wrong, correct me, please, everybody. He's looking at it. He's a fair knight, but no more than that. I would have a chance against him. If the gods were good, I might even unhorse him. And once afoot, my weight and strength would tell. Oh, yeah. No one wants to go up against a big guy like that. Get him! Egg shouted merrily, shifting his seat on Dunk's shoulders. He's jumping up and down with excitement. He's just loving it. Get him! Hit him! Yes, he's right there! Right there! And it seemed to be Lord Kieran who was cheering on. The harper was playing a different sort of music now, driving Lord Leo back and back as steel rang on steel. And everyone's cheering, and it seems that half the crowd's going one way, half the crowd's going the other way. And he says, curses mingled freely in the morning air. Oh, speaking of morning air, it's cold. I have my Icelandic blanket, the one I got at the Iceland gas station. For crying out loud, at Iceland gas stations, they have awesome blankets. They also have them in the airports. Chips of wood and paint were flying from Lord Leo's shield as Lord Pierce's axe knocked the petals off his golden rose one by one. Ooh. I don't know, is that on purpose or is that just the way it's happening because the way the fight's going? Because that would be something very particular. The shield finally shattered and split, but as it did, the axe head hung up for an instant in the wood, and Lord Leo's own axe crashed down on the haft of his foe's weapon, breaking it off not a foot from his hand. He cast aside his broken shield, and suddenly he was the one on the attacks. Within moments, the Harper Knight was on one knee, singing his surrender. Oh, yeah. Very nice. Very nice. Nice little wording there. Ah, we have here a dead man walking. Good morning, Miss Martin Muses. Bundle up and have some tea. Indeed, after I'm done with my coffee in here, I have a lemon tea with my name written all over it, and everyone's saying hello to each other. We say hello to each other here at Mr. Martin Muses because the chat is awesome. And if you are not subscribed to people that you see in the chat, please go ahead and do so, and let's support each other. And of course, support Mrs. Dadman Walking. For the rest of the morning and well into the afternoon, it was more of the same. Challengers took the field in twos and threes and sometimes five together. Trumpets blew, heralds called out names, war horses charged, the crowd cheered, lances snapped like twigs, and swords rang against helms and mail. My gosh. Small folk, high lord, and alike agreed. A splendid day of jousting. Yay! Sir Humphrey Harding and Sir Humphrey Beesbury, a bold young knight in yellow and black stripes with three beehives on his shield, splintered no less than a dozen lances apiece in an epic struggle the small folk soon began calling the Battle of Humphrey. Yeah, see, look, they're giving him battle names and everything, just like our sports of today. Dad Man Walking says, "Oh, thanks you so much." And she says, "Thank you to readying to head home." Ah, indeed, indeed. Ah, yeah. Well, safe travels as always. Be careful out there because people drive like maniacs, don't they? And let me see. Oh, yeah, the Battle of Humphrey. Sir Tybalt Lannister was unhorsed by Sir John Penrose and broke his sword in his fall, but fought back with shield alone to win the bout and remain a champion. One-eyed Sir Robin Riesling, a grizzled old knight with salt and pepper beard, lost his helm to Lord Leo's lance in their first course, yet refused to yield. Hmm. 3 times more they rode at each other, the wind whipping Sir Robin's hair, while the shards of broken lances flew round. What did it flow round? Why, let me turn the page and see, bare-faced like wooden knives, which Dunk thought all the more wondrous when Abe told him that Sir Robin had lost his eye to a splinter from a broken lance not 5 years earlier. My goodness gracious. Ah, Sort of Poop is out there talking about the missus has a drive stream on the 25th. Ooh, cool. Hope you all are going to be having fun where you are going. Maybe one of these days I'll do a drive stream. Who knows? It's all craziness out there, though. I think I need to focus while I drive. I don't want to. I guess if I'm in the passenger seat, it would be safe. Let's see. And of course, Egg is telling him all this history. How does Egg know all this? I can't possibly imagine. I can think that, the way little boys memorize things like dinosaurs. It's insane. Little girls too, I mean, but the things that they memorize, or they can memorize Pokemon stuff or whatever it is that they're into. But I feel like that's the way that Egg is. He seems really, really into this. So he would memorize them the way a boy in this medieval fantasy world, the only way that he could. And of course, as we might learn, he might have a reason to have access to all of this, but I can just see him doing it. I could actually see him maybe not being a very good student, but just being so attentive to these kind of stories, and maybe his tutor says, "Okay, fine, I'll tell the kid this story," and then maybe he'll get it. Oops, I almost gave it away, but I think we all know the spoiler by this point. Let's see. Leo Tyrell was too chivalrous to aim another lance at Sir Robin's unprotected head, But even so, Riesling's stubborn courage, or was it folly, left Dunk astounded. Finally, the Lord of Highgarden struck Sir Robin's breastplate a solid thump right over his heart and sent him cartwheeling to the earth. Ouch! And I tell you what, if they're going to be cartwheeling in all of this, in armor and everything, oh man, that's crazy. They can get killed. You can break your neck off of these things. Oh, it looks like she is going to be oh, I'll rather Dead Man Walking saying I'll be controlling it from home base while she's going to visit her mom. Ah, okay. Well, there we go. I will be at home base soon. And when I am, I do have a video ready to go. And you'll see what it's all about. I think it's so much fun. Let's go back to the Laughing Storm. Sir Lionel Baratheon also fought several notable matches. Against lesser foes, he would often break into booming laughter the moment they touched his shield and laugh all the time he was mounting and charging and knocking them from their stirrups. That's how we get the Laughing Storm. If his challengers wore any sort of crest on their helm, Sir Lionel would strike it off and fling it into the crowd. What a jerk. But on the other hand, fun stuff. I guess a form of trolling the other nobles. He didn't bother doing that with the other ones. He would just laugh. The crests were ornate things made of carved wood or shaped leather, and sometimes gilded and enameled, or even wrought in pure silver. So the men he beat did not appreciate this habit, though it made him a great favorite of the commons. Aha! He's playing to his crowd. He's playing to his fans. The way you'll see like a NASCAR driver do that. Oh, that's fun. I mean, not throw things to the crowd, but you go to the crowd. You go to your fans. Before long, only crestless men were choosing him. Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, that's funny. As loud and often as Sir Lionel laughed down a challenge, though, Dunk thought the day's honor should go to Sir Humphrey Harding, who humbled 14 knights, each one of them formidable. Meanwhile, the young prince sat outside his black pavilion, drinking from his silver goblet and rising from time to time to mount his horse and vanquish yet another undistinguished foe. What is he up to? He'd won 9 victories, but it seemed to Dunk that every one was hollow, because Dunk is an honorable guy. He's beating old men and unjumped squires, and a few lords of high birth and low skill. The truly dangerous men are riding past his shield as if they do not see it. Yeah, interesting. They don't want to challenge him. They're like pretending like they don't even see him. I wonder why. They probably know things that we do not, or we are definitely starting to suspect. But yeah, if you're like some poor, what do they call it? Unjumped squires or people without a crest, maybe you don't have a choice when the prince chooses you. Late in the day, a brazen fanfare announced the entry of a new challenger to the list. Dun dun dun. He rode in on a great red charger whose black bardings were slashed to reveal glimpses of yellow, crimson, and orange beneath. Dunk saw his face beneath the raised visor and recognized the prince he had met in Lord Ashford's stables. Egg's legs tightened around his neck. Stop that, Dunk snapped. You mean to choke me? Prince Arian Bright Flame, a herald called, of the Red Keep of King's Landing, son of Maekar. Prince of Summerhall of House Targaryen, grandson to Darren the Good, the second of his name, king of the Andals, the Ronar, and the first man, and lord of the seven kingdoms. Quite a fanfare. Arion wore a three-headed dragon on his shield, but it was rendered in colors much more vivid than Valor's. One head was orange, one yellow, one red, and the flames they breathed had the sheen of gold leaf. His surcoat was a swirl of smoke and fire woven together, and his blackened helm was surmounted by a crest of red enamel flames. Damn, that sounds awesome. Even though we don't like him. Boo. After a pause to dip his lance to Prince Baelor, a pause so brief that it was almost perfunctory, he galloped to the north end of the field past Lord Leo's pavilion and the laughing storms, slowing only when he approached Prince Valor's tent. The young prince rose and stood stiffly beside his shield, and for a moment Dunk was certain that Arion meant to strike it. But then he laughed and trotted past, jerk, and banged his point hard against Sir Humphrey Harding's diamonds. Come out, little knight. It's time you faced the dragon. Jerk. Sir Humphrey inclined his head stiffly. Yeah, he's not happy. He mounted, fastened his helm, and took up lance and shield. Oh, and then he ignored him. So he ignored the prince after the brief, stiff nod. The spectators grew quiet. Duncan heard the clang of Prince Arion dropping his visor. I'm feeling it being quiet. I can feel the tension. The horn blew. The crowd knows. Sir Humphrey broke slowly, building speed, but his foe raked the red charger with both spurs, coming hard. Egg's legs tightened again. Kill him, he shouted suddenly. Kill him. He's right there. Kill him. Kill him. Kill him. And Dunk was not certain which one he was shouting at. It's like, dang, kid. Prince Arion's lance, gold-tipped and painted in stripes of red, orange, and yellow, swung down across the barrier. Low, too low, thought Duncan the moment he saw it. He'll miss the rider and strike Sir Humphrey's horse. He needs to bring it up. And I'm like, oh boy. Oh boy. This is very quickly becoming not okay. Then, with dawning horror, he began to suspect that Arion intended no such thing. He cannot mean to. Oof. At the last possible instant, Sir Humphrey's stallion reared away from the oncoming point, eyes rolling in terror, but too late. Yeah, I'm about ready to go John Wick here. Arion's lance took the animal just above the armor and exploded out of the back of his neck. Oh my gosh, I can't even read this aloud, but you can imagine this poor, poor horse. He describes what happened to the horse, and I don't mind that he described it because describe what animal cruelty is. But this poor, poor, poor horse. And, as he falls, he's knocking the wooden barrier to pieces. Sir Humphrey tried to leap free, but a foot caught in a stirrup, and they heard his shriek as his leg was crushed between the splintered fence and the falling horse. Yeah, is this going to make him lose his leg? Gosh darn it. All of Ashford Meadow was shouting. Men ran onto the field to extricate Sir Humphrey, but the stallion kicked at them as they approached. I can't describe some more stuff about the stallion. It just hurts too much. Arion, having raced blithely around the carnage to the end of the list, wheeled his horse and came galloping back. He was shouting too, but Dunk could not make out the words over the almost human screams of the dying horse. Vaulting from the saddle, Arion drew his sword and advanced on his fallen foe. Is this guy nuts? His own squires and one of Sir Humphrey's had to pull him back. Egg squirmed on Dunk's shoulders. "Let me down," the boy said. "The poor horse, let me down." Dunk felt sick himself. What would I do if such a fate befell Thunder? And I'm not going to describe this, but the man at arms takes care of the horse, puts him out of his misery, which is the right thing to do. Dunk turned and forced his way through the press. When he came to open ground, he lifted Egg off his shoulders. The boy's hood had fallen back, and his eyes were red. "A terrible sight, he told the lad. "But a squire must needs be strong. You'll see worse mishaps at other tourneys, I fear." Oh, the boy was crying. "It was no mishap," Egg said, mouth trembling. "Arion meant to do it. You saw." Again, using him by his first name. Dunk frowned. It had looked that way to him as well. But it was hard to accept that any knight could be so unchivalrous, least of all one who is blood of the dragon. Oh, Dunk, you are learning. And you're going to learn some more. "I saw a knight green as summer grass lose control of his lance," he said stubbornly, "and I'll hear no more of it. The jousting is done for the day, I think. Come, lad." And that's where we stop. Oof. And we know some stuff's going to happen. If you know, you know. But my gosh, I like how Martin is showing us, not telling, what a dick this guy is. He did that to the horse. And of course, it hurt Sir Humphrey. And I don't remember, but I'm almost positive the dude's got to lose a leg. I mean, you get it crushed like that, or the leg will definitely not be usable. I think it's just horrible. And the way he describes what happened to the horse, that just leaves you no room for sympathy for this guy. This guy is a villain. And I will not forgive him. And the way Dunk was so upset, Egg knew what was coming, and he's crying. It's like, no, he did it on purpose. And everyone was quiet when that happened. Like, they didn't cheer for him, this prince, when he came out. And Sir Humphrey, he just nodded stiffly and is like, probably thinking, "Oh crap, my bad luck." But of course, you have to take him on. And maybe he gets away with it because he's a prince, and that's the bad side to things like the monarchy. But definitely, once again, a 12 out of 10. This is probably my favorite section of this novel. Well, okay, there's going to be some really badass stuff, but man, when I think about this, when I read this the first time, this is what really stayed with me. So darn good. So yes, my review, I go from 10 out of 10 to 12 out of 10 for this one. Again, honor. Duncan is a man of honor in the midst of all of this. And that's how we're going to see him rising to the occasion. Again, not all characters in George R. R. Martin's works are evil. There are honorable characters. There are honorable characters in A Song of Ice and Fire. But the TV show gave people a twisted view and memes on the internet that have no truth behind it. People that either haven't read his works or have read his works, but know they'll get engagement and rage bait from it. But he does have characters of honor, and none more honorable, in my opinion, than Sir Duncan the Tall. Clip it. So if perhaps you don't feel like A Song of Ice and Fire is your cup of tea, or you're not into Fire and Blood, which is basically a history book, read these novelists. And even though they're not quote unquote complete, I believe they are. I believe each one can stand on its own. So if Martin never writes any more, it doesn't matter. So you can enjoy these completely. You can just read the Hedge Night and enjoy it completely. It's good stuff. So I want to thank everyone that's been popping in, everyone that's been popping in and out, and people that will be coming on the replay and after the season airs. So we have Snorta Poop Scooper, we have Salty Traveling Sea, we have Dadman Walking 55. Yes, please, everyone, please do support them. And I guess, is Mrs. Dadman Walking not live? Let me see. Is she live? She is not live. She's usually live at this time, so maybe she's out and about. But definitely do subscribe to her, and she does her morning show. So have a great day, everyone. Have a great day. Oh, before we have a great day, I want to remind you all that we will be doing the Cowboy Campfire, a fistful of dollars. We will be doing our detective challenge. I have the detective challenge posted. It is a casual challenge, so you don't have to do all 10. You can double dip. One can count for 2, one can count for 3. I am loose about how you fulfill them, even if you only do one, and that will be done in February, where we will be discussing what we watched for the challenge. And even if you didn't do any for the challenge, you can watch the live stream about it and maybe get some suggestions. And there will also be casting of the Wheel of Time, proper casting of the Wheel of Time. So stay tuned for that. Once again, I wish I could have a regular schedule to tell you all, but I just can't. So, oh yes, take care, every human. Yes, and every cat and every dog. I miss my kitty cat. Though I did get to see him when I went home for the stress test. So yay, I got to cuddle with him. And I think he was upset when I was gone. I can't wait to see the doggy again. I didn't go visit the dog though, because he's already, when he's been out with the dog walker, he's staying at the home, like where he was fostered, the home. He still loves them, so they often like to have him babysit him because they get to have him for a week or so. But he kept trying to go back to the house, like, come on, let's go. So I didn't have the heart to go like visit him, because I think, oh, with a dog would know. Dogs know these things, and it just would break my heart. Now, maybe my cat knows it as well, but cats, they don't show emotion the same way we do. But I do know my cat's body language, so I knew that he was sad to see me go, and he was happy to see me. One way is that he was right at the door as I came in, and he was, yelling. And then when I walked in, he was rubbing against things, rubbing against me, and then he wanted me to get into the armchair. So that's how a cat knows. But a dog, man, there's something else. There's something else. I will admit it. So clip it rather. So have a great day, everyone. Have a great day, and be certain to read good literature and watch good entertainment.